Title: The New York City Mayor's Office for People with Disabilities, the New York City Department of Cultural Affairs, and Art Beyond Sight present Project Access New York, Best Practices for Inclusion in the Arts, Thursday, May 2, 2013, the Museum of Modern Art. The symposium began with greetings from 4 people who spoke from a podium, on a stage, in an auditorium. The speakers are Shirley Levy, Chief of Staff, New York City Department of Cultural Affairs; Glenn D. Lowry, Director, the Museum of Modern Art; Jason Mischel, Deputy Commissioner, Mayor's Office for People with Disabilities; Cynthia Overton, Principal Research Analyst in Education, Human Development, and the Workforce, American Institutes for Research. Ms. Levy speaks first.
DCA and our colleagues at the Mayor's Office of People with Disabilities are very happy to welcome you to the first ever Art Beyond Sight Project Access NYC Symposium. I know we have an incredible lineup for today, and I hope that you'll find the conversations diverse and interesting and useful to you as you take them back to your organizations. So that's my spiel. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce our host for today, Glenn Lowry from the Museum of Modern Art. Thank you.
Good morning, and thank you so much for being here. I want to, first of all, extend my thanks and gratitude to the Department of Cultural Affairs, the Mayor's Office for People with Disabilities, Art Beyond Sight, Elizabeth Axel, President and Founder of Art Beyond Sight, Nick Williams, Chair of the Board of Art Beyond Sight, and Francesca Rosenberg, Director of Community Access and School Programs here at MoMA, who's done so much to help us ensure that we are current with issues around disabilities. The museum has a long history of endeavoring to serve people with disabilities, dating back to the establishment of the War Veterans Art Center in 1944. Its goal was to discover the most effective ways of using the arts to aid in the readjustment of veterans to civil life. The center's work was considered highly progressive within the field of art education, and today we continue in the same spirit, developing innovative educational programs for diverse audiences and thinking about accessibility in everything we do. New York City itself has been and continues to be a model for other metro areas around the country and abroad in its commitment to opening up the city's cultural institutions and beyond to those with disabilities. This is not the first partnership between the Museum of Modern Art and Art Beyond Sight. We've been actually working together for the last 15 years, and we're very proud of that. From my point of view, this is a very timely event as it addresses the issues of access and inclusion holistically and acknowledges that access is not the sole purview of one department, for instance, education, but rather a fundamental institutional priority. Everyone involved on some level, from security to curatorial to frontline staff to exhibition designers, marketing, digital media, trustees, artists, everyone has a commitment and a stake in ensuring that institutions are open and accessible to everyone. To that end, here at the museum, we've formed an accessibility task force, a cross-departmental team, who work together to ensure that accessibility is embedded in everything we do and is sustainable. And I want to underscore that. These are not commitments that can be made casually or should be made casually. They need to be thought of as ongoing and continuous, a kind of loop in which we're always thinking about best practices and always endeavoring to move ourselves to a level that we can all be proud of. Compliance with the Americans with Disabilities Act is not enough. We strive to go beyond and above that, embedding a philosophy of accessibility and inclusivity throughout the institution. By addressing physical, programmatic, and attitudinal barriers, we hope to achieve equality of participation for every visitor. It's a goal. It's not something that one can ever actually achieve, but it's a goal that I think we have to commit ourselves to strive for, and one day we will achieve. As more than 1 billion people in the world live with some form of disability, we understand that a commitment to our visitors must include a commitment to those with disabilities. Inclusion of people with disabilities has to be a matter of pride, commitment, and fundamentally one of engagement. By embedding a commitment to accessibility at the heart of visitor experiences, we create a better museum here and everywhere else for all visitors and help achieve our mission. And I want to underscore all visitors. it is not simply about addressing those with disabilities. It's acknowledging that the population that visits museums is diverse and varied, and everyone has some need, and we need to find a way to ensure that those diverse needs are met, sustained, and constantly engaged. So it's my pleasure this morning to turn the podium over to Jason Mischel, Deputy Commissioner of the Mayor's Office for People with Disabilities. Jason, welcome and thank you for being here.
Thanks. Ditto. All right, thanks. No, just kidding. Welcome, everybody, on a beautiful Thursday morning. Appreciate you guys coming. I'm the Deputy Commissioner and General Counsel of the Mayor's Office for People with Disabilities. My name is Jason Mischel, and I'm here on behalf of the Mayor, Michael Bloomberg, and my Commissioner, Victor Calisi. I'm very thankful that we have partnered with not only the New York City Department of Cultural Affairs, Commissioner Kate Levin and her team, including Shirley, Levy, and Danae Pointer, but the organization that I've come to know and love over the last couple years, Art Beyond Sight and Project Access. They're very dedicated to showing cultural institutions the benefits of inclusiveness for all people, including people with disabilities. And to that end, I just wanted to say a couple of thoughts and then talk to you about my agency very quickly, and then we'll start the panel discussions. I've been with the Mayor's Office for about 9 years now, and one of the things that I've seen is it's not so much that people don't want to include people with disabilities because they have a bad intention or they want to isolate that community. It's a lot of it has to do with they're afraid in terms of how to go about doing it. They're just not aware of what kinds of accommodations are out there that may be less expensive than what they're thinking it's going to cost institutions or other places of public accommodation. So one of the reasons we're here today is to make you comfortable with the fact that we're not talking necessarily about millions of dollars, let's say, in capital improvements to your buildings that are going to make you believe that including people with disabilities in your establishments is going to run your business into the ground. That's not the case. That's why there is what's called reasonable accommodations, and there's all sorts of ways that these can be enacted and introduced into your business at a low cost, at a high efficiency, and the result will be that you will find more pedestrian traffic into your institutions. You'll have a lot more goodwill, and people with disabilities, although they're not necessarily a united front, one of the things that they are united about is if an institution, a cultural institution, is in fact accessible to people with disabilities, and I'm not just talking about people who use wheelchairs, we're talking about people who are deaf or hard of hearing or blind and low vision, the word gets around, and that becomes kind of a grassroots snowball effect where your institution will be one that they will come to. And usually they're traveling with family or friends, and it, like I said, it kind of snowballs, and you'll find that the goodwill and the increased traffic into your institutions will only help you. People with disabilities are people. They have wallets. They want to come out and experience everything that the city has to offer. And if you just do a couple of things that aren't that difficult, you'll find that this will only be helpful to you. And I understand that a place like the MoMA, for instance, is very popular already, but it can only get better. And we're here to advocate for that. My office was created by executive order to basically be the liaison between city agencies and disabled residents of and visitors to the city. And we are actually advocates. It actually says that in the order. We are advocates, and we are always very loud and aggressive in our negotiations with agencies and trying to push legislation and putting out publications and doing everything we can to provide maximum inclusiveness in areas such as housing, employment, transportation, education, and let's say inclusiveness in cultural institutions. That's one of them. So I'm very happy that you're all here today. And again, I just want to emphasize, for instance, you see that we have card technology on my right, and we have an interpreter here on my left. Some of you might be wondering, well, why is that? And the answer is because some people who are deaf or hard of hearing are comfortable with a sign language interpreter. There are other people who are deaf or hard of hearing who prefer captioning. These are two examples of accommodations that can be provided by cultural institutions. And you can see that these kinds of things are not, we're not talking about millions of dollars here. These are what we would call reasonable for people who need them. There's a lot of other solutions as well that we'll be getting into throughout the day. And I just want to reemphasize that as long as you keep an open mind and you listen today to some of the ideas that are being proffered, you will find that it's not that hard, it's not that heavy of a lift, and you will have people with disabilities being very, very excited and happy to come to your institutions, and they will spread the word, and we will spread the word, and it's all about, at the end of the day, doing the right thing. So thank you for coming today, and I'd like to introduce now Cynthia Overton from Project Access, who will expand on some of the thoughts that I had. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Cynthia Overton, and I have just a few remarks to deliver on behalf of Elizabeth Axel and myself. We co-chair Project Access, which is a working group that actually developed at the encouragement of Kareem Dale, who convened a group of representatives from cultural institutions at the White House. I've got to tell you, I have been so excited about this event for weeks. I'm really excited about the spirit of the day. I look around, I've seen the list of attendees. We all come from different institutions, from different backgrounds. We all have different experiences, but we all share a common mission of enhancing accessibility in cultural institutions. Despite our passion for this mission, this is really hard to do by ourselves, alone, in silos. But what's so special about everyone here today is our willingness to collaborate and share and create environments where everyone is welcome all of the time. So as we interact with one another today, we can expect to hear and share new practices and new ideas. And I would just really encourage everyone to keep the spirit of collaborative and constructive productivity in the forefront so that we can actually make progress and realize our vision of an inclusive environment when it comes to cultural institutions.
Title: www.projectaccessforall.org. Copyright Project Access for All, 2013.